Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy Thursday if you're watching this the day that it goes live. Today we're going to be doing a Throwback Thursday video. I did one of these about a month ago and it was actually really fun and a good way for me to just pull out old items or older items in my collection that I haven't used in a while, but maybe that I used to love or even didn't love. Just things in my collection that I haven't used in quite some time. So if you guys are interested in seeing the products that I selected for this Throwback Thursday as well as seeing me put them to the test on my face, then just keep watching. So I'm going to start with eyes today, and I'm actually going in with two different eyeshadow palettes. Both are from Juvia'S place. First I have the Nubian 2, which was the palette that I first selected for this video, and mine is like all beat up because my daughter did end up getting into this one when she was a lot younger. I should just buy another one, but I'm too cheap for that. So this is what the Nubian 2 looks like. The only reason I decided to toss in, I have the original Saharan by Juvia'S, is because I wanted to at least use this lighter transition shade because I feel like I need a bit of a lighter transition shade in the Nubian. So I haven't quite decided what I want to do with my eyes, but I just know that I'm going to be using both of these palettes, and I'm going to start with my eyes today. First I'm going to start by priming my eyes, and I have my Milani eyeshadow primer, which I just have not used in a while. Typically I've been using my NARS Soft Matte Concealer to set my eyes, or just like as an eyeshadow primer. Trying to do this left-handed is no easy task. If you're more of an eye primer type of a person rather than using a concealer, I do think the Milani one is good, and I think it's like $4 or $5.99, so it is relatively inexpensive. To set that, this isn't necessarily a throwback, but I'm going in with my Wet n Wild Nude Awakening palette. I'm working on panning this shade right here, so I'm going to use this shade to set my eyes. Okay, so then jumping into the Saharan, I'm going to take this shade Katsina, and I'm going to use this as my transition shade in the crease. Okay, so I'm still not 100% sure what I want to do or what kind of look that I want to create, but I feel like I want to use this green shade Egypt. Here it is. There it is swatched. I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but what a beautiful shade. I've never used this shade. In fact, I almost didn't buy the Nubian palette. I ended up waiting probably like 4 months after this originally released, and like there was all that hype. Nikki Tutorials was like really talking them up, and I feel like Jaclyn Hill, I think, ordered all 3 palettes and did some sort of like tutorial or something with it, and still I waited a while, and then finally I decided to give in and purchase this, and I really have been impressed with the quality of all my Juvia'S place palettes. I really do appreciate their price point with their quality. I think they have really great quality shadows at a fair price. Anyway, I'm going to go into this Morocco shade next, and I'm just going to put that into my crease and blow that into my crease as well. I'm definitely no makeup artist, and sometimes like I really struggle to see outside of like a neutral brown eye look. I really struggle to see like the greater picture of like a really creative look, and especially when I'm like filming it, I'm like super nervous that my look just isn't going to come together and it's going to be a complete waste. I will say I have had quite a bit of fun with purples this year. I'm doing a 19 shadows in 2019 where I'm trying to pan 19 different eyeshadows from different palettes, and I chose them pretty much at random, and a lot of them ended up, well, not a lot of them, but I did end up getting some purple shades, and I've had a ton of fun playing around with like mauves and purples this year. So I feel like I'm getting more comfortable when it comes to creating purple looks, but when it comes to a shimmery green, I guess I'm just not 100% confident in what kind of eyeshadow look I should create. One thing I will say about the Juvia'S eyeshadows, or at least in the Nubian, actually in the Nubian but not the Saharan. The Nubian is a bit powdery. The Saharan I feel like is a bit firmer pressed. I would love to know, you guys should leave me a comment below, what is your favorite color of like eyeshadow to play with? What color do you really love to create looks with? And maybe it's not like maybe like you love reds, but you typically do like a neutral, like cool tone smoky eye or something with like neutral browns. But like when you are having fun with makeup, what is your favorite type of look to create? What types of colors do you like to use? I definitely like want to experiment more just with colors in general this year. But first I'm trying to like perfect my blending skills, because my blending skills are just really holding me back from some good eye looks. Okay, I really do love that Moroccan shade. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful warm orange shade. Love that shade. Okay, next, jumping back into the Saharan palette, I'm going to take this deeper orange shade in the shade, I think it's Jamelia, I'm probably mispronouncing that. And I'm going to use this to just deepen up the crease. Okay, and I'm not sure that that one is too much deeper even than that Morocco shade, so I'm not sure how much deeper this is going to make the crease look. Okay, so that deepened it up just ever so slightly. I'm going to jump back in. Sorry to be jumping back and forth between palettes, you guys, but I'm going to jump back into the Nubian 2, and I'm going to take this deep, deep brown shade, which is in the shade Kenya, and I'm going to use this to deepen up the outer V. Okay, I'm going to take a makeup wipe and just clean up underneath that at least a little bit, even though we're still going to come back in. I'm going to come back to this side and clean it up, and I'm going to do this same thing on the other side. Okay, so this is where it's going to get interesting, and I honestly don't even know if it's going to work out. I feel like my eyes look crazy right now, but I'm going to hope that this is one of those that just comes together when everything's done. I'm going to go in with this Egypt shade, the beautiful green, and I'm going to use this all over the lid. Holy smokes. That was without wetting my brush. I also just realized I didn't zoom you guys in at all for like my eye look, so I apologize if I'm like way zoomed out. I will try and remember to zoom you guys in for the eyes in my next kind of video like this. That is a super, super pretty shade though. Okay, I actually really do like this. I'm just going to go back in with Kenya and try and deepen up the outer V a little bit more. And then I'm going to go back in with Morocco. So I'm going to go between Kenya and Morocco and just try and deepen the crease and just further blend this out so it looks just more smooth, more cohesive. Okay, so this is where the eyes are looking like now. I'm going to pause on the eyes for a little bit, and then we'll come back to them to finish them off. But I'm going to take a makeup wipe and just clean up underneath. I did get quite a bit of fallout with both of those palettes. Okay, guys, so jumping into the face, up first I have primer. I have this Hourglass number 28 primer serum. I just have the mini, and I have like half of this left. I'm trying to get through this. I actually am putting this into a rolling Project 10 pan, but I don't know if that video will be up before or after this. This serum I bought because it's, or this primer I bought because it's super, super hydrating, and I have incredibly dry skin. Because it's more of like an oil-based primer, I find that it doesn't work with all of my foundations, so I just don't end up reaching for this that often. It's definitely like a thick, oily primer. So if you have oily skin, I would probably definitely steer clear of this one. But it is a really, really nice hydrating primer. Like honestly, and it makes your skin feel super soft too. If I was not gonna wear makeup to work but had like super dry skin, or was just having like a super dry day, I may even consider like tossing this on before going to work, and then like obviously not wearing foundation with it. Love the primer, but probably wouldn't repurchase just because it is, again, kind of hard to pair, or hard to know which foundations it's going to pair well with. For foundations, I'm going with one of my old favorites that I wore all of the time last year, but I just haven't reached for this probably since like last summer. This is the Covergirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. Again, this is one of my favorites, but I just typically tend to wear it more in the summertime. In fact, this is more of a new bottle to me. I also have my summer shade here, which is definitely more loved and well used, and I actually went through 1 or 2 of these last year, like full bottles. So love this foundation, it's really great, and I'm excited to use it again today because, like I said, it's been a little bit since I have used this. So I'm just taking this on my Morphe M439 brush, which for some reason I've like fallen back in love with this foundation brush. I like just go back and forth between this and my Sigma F80 Kabuki. I look literally so shiny. Even before I put this primer on, I looked shiny today. I don't know how or why, but I promise you I do still have very dry skin. I still have never seen like an actual oil on my face. Yikes, 710 is not matching me that well. I don't know if they have a 705. That might have been the one I think I had 705, and I thought that was a little bit too light for me, so I got 710, and this is appearing to be a little bit too dark for me right now. I always go in then with a last pump or two on a beauty sponge and use this to like really blend it out. And whoops, I didn't finish with the forehead. Okay, I love this. Just as I remember, it gives a nice, healthy, glowy appearance to the skin without being like too glowy where it sets in, or like too oily where it sets in to your lines. I know I'm still looking shiny up here. I don't know if it's because of my lights or what, but we're going to jump into concealer next, and today I'm going in with the Ulta Beauty Full Coverage Liquid Concealer. I also used to really love this concealer, but I just have not reached for it in a while. In fact, this might be up there in like my top 3. The one thing with this is I don't think this is like the best shade for me. I have mine in the shade Light Cool, and I saw that Ulta actually just released like a glowy concealer, which I'm really interested in. But if you guys are not new to my channel, then you'll know I'm on a low buy, so I'm trying to be very conscious of what I am buying, and I feel like right now there's quite a few concealers I'm trying to get through, so I'd like to get through some concealers before I purchase more. In fact, I purchased 2 new concealers last month to test out. One I still have to test out. I'm gonna try and possibly film that video tomorrow testing out the Smashbox, the new Smashbox concealer. But if you guys have tried the new Glow concealer by Ulta, you'll have to let me know if you've tried it and what you think. Okay, I'm actually liking that shade now better than I remember. I am going to set this today. The powder that I'm using today is my Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder. I love this powder. I just haven't reached for it in a little bit because, again, I'm trying to go through some different powders. But this is a really nice powder. I always love the way that it looks setting my eyes, and I really struggle like with dry under eyes, so I'm really careful about what powders I'm using underneath my eyes because, for example, the Laura Mercier translucent powder just makes me look so disgustingly crepey and dry and cakey, but this one does not do that. I really do enjoy this powder, so I just take this on my damp sponge and just press this in. I don't do any sort of like baking, but I love the way that this sets my under eye concealer. Then I'm just going to add a little bit more concealer to my chin and a little bit on my forehead, and I'm going to use that same powder just with a brush to set my forehead, just because I hate like when foundation settles into my forehead lines, and I find that most foundations do that to me. Okay, my camera died, so I went and filled in my brows off camera. Now we're moving on to bronzer. I'm pulling out my Tarte Park Avenue Princess. This is one that is currently on my chopping block. I mentioned this in obviously my chopping block video, and I said that I got this in an Ipsy or some sort of subscription box, and I just never even like have tried it. I have since tried it now, but I'm doing it as a throwback because I got this so long ago. I do want to do a full face of items like on my chopping block as well. I just haven't gotten around to filming that yet. A bit of a spoiler alert, I have decided I think I probably will keep this bronzer. I think for the most part I like it. It's not one that I'll probably repurchase once I finish this one, but it might be actually. I don't know. I actually really do feel like I like this. I feel like it's more like a bronzer slash contour on me. It's not like something that like it gives me a ton of warmth, at least not in my opinion. Maybe I'll feel differently when I go back to edit, or maybe someone will tell me differently, but I do enjoy it. Definitely one that I want to keep in my collection, at least for the time being. But the jury's out on whether or not it would be like a repurchase. However, this is so firmly pressed that I feel like this will last me a really long time. That's something that I learned from project painting last year, is like even minis take so long to pan, especially when it's like powder products like blush or bronzer. Yeah, I really do like that bronzer, I think. Again, maybe you guys feel differently and will tell me differently, but in my opinion, I do enjoy this bronzer. Okay, for blush, I'm pulling out a real OG in my collection. This is an Hourglass blush. This is in the shade Euphoric Fusion, and I originally bought the mini in Mood Exposure for Hourglass, fell in love with the formula, and then purchased this sometime last year. And this was one of those that like I bought and used it a ton right away, but I just have not used this in such a long time. But I used to love it. It just gives more of like a glow to the cheeks. Like, as you can tell, it has more like nude powder in it than it does any sort of color. And this is what it looks like on the blush, on the brush. So this is one that I do like to pull out more in the summertime, just because again it gives more of like the glow to the cheeks, whereas in the winter I typically go for more of like matte formulas when I'm picking out my blush. But I thought this would be a fun one to pull today, and it's just like a really nice neutral nude blush. Just gives like a hint of color to the cheeks, and I think it is so pretty. I'm still tempted to get the Hourglass bronzer, but again, trying to be good and like use some of the other bronzers in my collection before I go purchase that one. You guys will have to let me know. I tell you this in every video where I mention this bronzer, but like, do I really need it or not? I feel like the majority of people that have commented about it have said that I do need it. But I also am super interested in the Jouer bronzer too. Still have that on my radar. Perhaps during the Sephora VIB sale, maybe I'll make a purchase. But I'm also going to Vegas in May, and I really want to like, I don't know, up my wardrobe, or like buy new buy new clothing items for that trip. I haven't updated. I used to work at Express, the clothing company, and I would literally buy so much new clothes all the time. And then when I left Express, I just feel like all I wear now is like athleisure and then like my work clothes. So I don't know, I haven't updated my wardrobe in a really long time. Right now I'm doing like the KonMari method. I know that's such like the rage right now, and I've been going through all my clothes. I feel really confident I'm getting rid of quite a bit. So I'm trying to like not buy makeup because I have so much makeup, and I'd like to bring in some new clothing items. If you guys have any favorite clothing like boutiques or anything like that, leave them down below for me. I know I've been more into like the boutique-y type of stores rather than like the mall type of stores. I love White Fox Boutique, which is an Australian boutique. I'm obsessed with them. I love a Vicky collection, which I found on Instagram. And then I just heard another YouTuber, I forget who it was. Amy, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Mercado, talk about Meshki, which is another, I think Australian type of boutique type of shop. So anyway, if you guys have any recommendations for where you like to buy your clothes, let me know. Okay, we're gonna jump back into the eyes before doing my highlight. I wish that I had like a fun lime green or something to put in my waterline, but I don't, of course. And I don't want to go with brown in my waterline, so I'm going to take my Inglot Gel Liner in the shade 9M or 94. It's like the champagne color. I can't remember if I used this in my last Throwback Thursday video, but this is definitely a throwback. I've been loving this lately. So next, on a flat definer brush, I'm going to go in with that dark brown shade in Kenya, and I'm going to press that in about 1/3 of the way from like my outer corner in towards my inner corner. Just like 1/3 or halfway. Okay, so then I'm going to take that shade Morocco, that bright orange, and I'm going to use this to smoke out the lower lash line, and I'm going to stop with about 1/3 left of like my inner corner or lower lash line. Okay, and then finally on like a little pencil brush, I'm going to hop into the Saharan palette, and I'm going to take this green shade in the shade Wadabi. Here, let me swatch with this. I don't even know how to describe this shade. It's kind of like a bright lime green. And I'm going to take that on my inner corner and then down on my lower lash line, like the first like 4th or 3rd of the lash line. Yeah, that is such a cool shade. Okay, that's it for the eye look. I'm going to pop on some mascara. I typically never do lashes unless it's like a super special occasion, and then we'll come back and finish off with my highlight and lips. Alright guys, mascara is on. I went in with the Kush mascara and then the Essence Lash Princess in the green tube. It's like the mascara combo I'm loving right now. For highlight, we're going to go in with my Laura Geller Baked Gelato Swirl palette. Sorry, you may have heard my Keurig cooling down. I just mentioned this in a high-end products I don't reach for, but I mentioned in there that I do really love this palette. I just never reach for it. So I thought it would be a perfect time to pull this out. This is definitely a throwback. I love Gilded Honey, but I used to also really love Peach Glow. I think I'm going to go in with Gilded Honey today just for, you know, old time's sake, but I really love this palette. I just need to remember to use it more. It's just such bulky packaging that that's the reason I don't reach for it, which just isn't a good excuse. Such a beautiful highlight. I love that. Okay, loving it. Definitely gonna have to pull this for my next Shop My Stash. It is super, super beautiful. I just need to pull it. Okay, finally for lips, I'm going in with an OG Kylie liquid lipstick. This is such a throwback. I used to really actually enjoy the Kylie liquid lipsticks, even though they are more of a dry formula. I really want to try her Velvet liquid lipsticks, but I just stopped buying Kylie Cosmetics products, not for any reason in particular. I don't have like something super, super against her, but I just haven't bought a product from her in a really long time. If I didn't mention, this is in the shade Malibu. I don't know if you'll be able to see it swatched right there, but it's just like a nice neutral, like taupey brown nude, which is something that I love. It might be a little, it dries down a bit dark, so it might be like a little bit dark for this look, but it's okay. I probably will regret doing this too because my lips are so dry right now. I actually really, I don't know, maybe it's like nostalgia, but I really like the way that the Kylie liquid lipsticks smell. It kind of like brings me back. One thing I can't deny is I feel like Kylie just like nails it with her shade range in her liquid lipsticks. If you guys have tried Kylie liquid lipsticks and have a favorite shade, leave me a comment down below. I think I have like 4 or 5 shades, and then I have a couple of her glosses, but there's definitely still some shades out there that I'm definitely interested in. But again, I just haven't bought from Kylie in such a long time. Yeah, this is like more, this ends up being like way more cool toned than I expect. Okay, I'm definitely not sure that going with the cool tone lip was such a great idea with the rest of this warm tone look. Maybe they balance each other out, but other than that, you guys, this is going to be the final look for today. Definitely leave me a comment in the comments below letting me know what throwbacks you've been using lately. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope you'll consider doing so before you go. I upload videos every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Other than that, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!